Greetings fellow guitar travellers, it's Round J Parker here, back with another episode of Music Theory, and today we're going to be doing modal formulas because I've had quite a number of requests for other scale stuff apart from the major scales, so I'm here to oblige. I'm always here to oblige my ever-loving fans, all one of you. Anyway, before we get into today's lesson, you know what's coming up. We're going to visit that website, www.roundjparker.com, which is a great site with a ton of free resources on it. It has a site where you can buy things. You can also hit me up on Facebook if you want to be my friend on Facebook. I have so many friends on Facebook, all two of them. You can get my stuff on YouTube, of course, which you're watching just now, and there's a whole ton of lessons on there, all sorts of subjects. Alright, I also have a Patreon account, so if you feel like supporting a struggling musician, but you don't want to buy any of my stuff, then chuck me £1, $1 a month on Patreon, and I'll be your friend forever. Or maybe not. Anyway, enough of the hilarity and broadness. Let's get on with today's lesson, which is modal formulas. So, in this episode, we're going to look at the construction of the 7, count them, yes, 7 modes of the major scale. We're going to look at their construction formula, and also the notes they would contain if constructed upon the note of C. Alright, so let's get into this then. So, there are 7 modes, and they are in this order: Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and Lockean. That's all 7 of them. So when we talk about the description of scales or modes or chords, or really anything that has what's called an intervallic construction, we always benchmark it to the major scale. That's the reference benchmark that everything is compared against, and that's how we express the scales in terms of construction. So let's just see if we can dive into the first mode. Now the first mode is called Ionian, and it has exactly the same construction as the major scale. So for instance, the notes of the C major scale and the notes of the C Ionian mode contain exactly the same notes. So in terms of construction, they would be exactly the same because you'd be comparing the major scale with the major scale. So let's go ahead and show you that. Remember to grab the trusty pen and paper of destiny and get ready to do some writing, okay? So here is Ionian mode. Ionian, named after the Ionian Sea, I do believe, somewhere in ancient Greece. That's where a lot of these modal names come from, you know. It's ancient Greek peoples, though I don't think there was ever a tribe called the Mixolydians. Not really. Anyway, so Ionian, the construction of Ionian is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. Now, really all that's saying is that it has exactly the same intervallic construction as the major scale. So, for instance, if we were constructing an Ionian mode upon the note of C, then it would be C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Very straightforward. Okay, so that's Ionian. Now let's look at mode 2, which is Dorian, the Dorian mode, named after Dorian tribe of ancient Greece. Oh, amazing things you learn on these lessons, eh? Okay, so Dorian's a minor mode, and Dorian is constructed 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, and flat 7. So let's write that down. 1, 2, flat 3, because it's a minor mode, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and 1. Right now, so what notes is that going to be? Well, let's just think about it. We're comparing it against our benchmark major scale. So if we're constructing the mode upon C, it would be C, D, and then we have a flattened third, so we won't have E, we'll have E flat, F, G, A, and then the 7th degree, we won't have a regular 7th, a major 7th, we'll have a flattened 7th or minor 7th, so we'll have to lower that B down to B flat. So that gives us the notes for Dorian, which is C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat, and C. Okay, now on to Phrygian mode, which is mode 3 of the major scale. I can never spell Phrygian. It's P-H-R-Y-G-I-A-N, I do believe. All right, Phrygian is another minor mode. It's a darker minor mode than Dorian, however. Its construction is 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 1. So that's a lot of flats. So as you might imagine, Phrygian sounds pretty dark. All right, good. So let's see what notes we contain then. Building it upon C, we'd C, and then we'd have a flat 2, flat in second, so that's D flat, and then a flattened 3, which would be E flat, then a regular 4 and a regular 5, it's F and G, and then flat 6, A flat, flat 7 is B flat, and then back to C is the 1. Alright, so you get the idea here. I'm just going to keep cracking along. Mode 4 is Lydian. It's the sound of Superman flying through the air, though not Christopher Reeve. Oh, that was a terrible joke. No, 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 no. My wife's a big Christopher Reeve fan. She'll kill me for that one. Alright, so Lydian, 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. So raised 4 in Lydian, why is that 4 so small? Raised 4 in Lydian has the effect of brightening the scale and making it sound sort of even more floaty and majestic. In fact, it's a much better scale than Ionian. I cordially dislike, cordially loathe Ionian, and I much prefer Lydian. So you'll catch me playing Lydian on, for instance, major 7 chords far more often than Ionian, because, yeah, for reasons I won't bore you with, Ionian is not the best sounding scale at all. We cover that in another video. Alright, so let's get on with this then. C Lydian, sharp 4, so it's quite easy. C, D, E, we just need to take that F and raise it to F sharp. And then G, and then A, and then B and C. So that's straightforward, okay? Good. Now, mode 5, Mixolydian. Mixolydian, that's a disease that rabbits get. No, that's myxomatosis. Right, anyway, so Mixolydian is like a major scale, except it has a flattened 7. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then flattened 7. Because the character of Mixolydian is actually a dominant sound. It's really a dominant 7th sort of sound. So it's not a major mode, very common misconception, the Mixolydian is one of the major modes. Wrong, it's not, it's a dominant mode. Alright, so let's spell it out then. So it's quite easy, everything's the same apart from the flat 7. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, and then back to C. Okay, so that covers the first 5 modes. To flip the paper of doom over now. So I'm writing so large so you can try to see it in the video. So now we're on to Aeolian, which is a ubiquitous scale in rock music. You hear it all the time, rock and heavy rock. You also hear it in some sorts of folk music, Irish traditional, Scottish traditional folk music, pretty common, as is Dorian actually. And Mixolydian, yeah, folk music uses a lot of modal stuff. Anyway, Aeolian then. So Aeolian is, well, we can see this in the shot, let's make sure it is in the shot is. Right, so 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7 and 1. So it's a pretty dark sounding scale actually, Aeolian, which probably explains why it's used in heavy rock, since that tends to be sort of fairly gothic and dark anyway, so the scale suits it. You don't get very much heavy metal in major keys. Here's, for instance, a quiz for you, right? The band Iron Maiden, well-known British band Iron Maiden. How many Iron Maiden songs are in major keys? And I'll leave you to think about that one while I do it. Alright, so C Aeolian then is C, D, E flat, flattening that 3rd, F, G, A flat, flattened 6, B flat, flattened 7th, and then back to C again. Alrighty, now the answer to the question is how many Iron Maiden songs are in major keys? The answer is big fat bagel, 0. 0 Iron Maiden songs in major keys. And don't give me, oh, what about Can I Play With Madness? What about Revelations? No. Number of the Beast? No, 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 they're Mixolydian. No major, no Ionian mode stuff in Iron Maiden songs. There you are, fascinating. Alright, here we go, Lockean. Actually better put the name of this mode at the top, Aeolian. And then Lockean, which I like to call the ginger-haired stepchild of the modal world that we keep under the cupboard underneath the stairs, and we feed him scraps. Because everyone hates Lockean, unjustifiably however. So, Lockean is 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7 and 1. Alright, so now this is like, as I used this joke before, a whole block of flats. It's a hell of a lot of flats. So you got C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat. Wait a minute, Lockean's got a flat 5. Oh, amateur hour here. So sorry, Lockean is 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7 and 1. Do beg your pardon. Alright, so that gives us this gives us C, D flat, E flat, F, G flat. That's that flat 5 I almost forgot about. A flat, B flat and C. So it's the diminished sounding mode. That's the reason it's not very popular, is because, you know, you don't really get diminished tonalities as fixed points in modal chord progressions. Again, this is a subject for another video, but that's the reason. Lockean contains a flat 5 and none of the other modes do, and that sort of explains why it's not very stable and therefore generally uncomfortable and therefore not really used. I hope that kind of explains it briefly. I will go into it in more detail on another lesson. Okay, phew, that's the modal construction for all 7 modes. Let's just review and recap at the risk of boring you to death. All right, so Ionian, same as the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Dorian, minor mode, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and 1. Phrygian, another minor mode, pretty dark, 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 1. Then we have Lydian, that's a Superman mode, that's 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. Mixolydian, the dominant mode with a flat 7 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. Aeolian, minor mode, found in heavy rock, frequently, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 1. And then Lockean, the one we almost made a mess of, is Lockean, the diminished mode, is nobody's friend. It's 1, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, and 1. Phew, made it to the end of this video. All right, so do what I did. Get your pen, get your paper, write all these modal constructions out, and then, you know, pretty much every day, scribble them out, and in no time at all, you'll have encyclopedic knowledge of construction of modes. It's really as easy as that. It just requires repetition. It's a bit like that joke. What's the difference between a drummer and a drum machine? Well, the answer is you only need to punch the information into a drum machine once. So on that basis, if you punch information into yourself enough times, then eventually you will have pretty much instant and perfect recall. Alrighty, so that'll do for this lesson. I will see you next time for another music theory lesson where we're going to delve into the construction of the minor modes, Aeolian, natural minor, harmonic minor and melodic minor. So that'll be exciting. Until then, don't forget to look at the website. Support me on Patreon if you dare, and buy stuff in my store. Till then, Brain Round J. Parker. Farewell. See you next time, guys.